In this week's gear guide, we're having a lesson on multiplier reels from Saul and George Cunningham. So let's find out what they're all about.
I prefer to use a multiplier purely for the type of fishing I'm doing. I'm using clip rigs, trying to get long range, heavier diameter lines, whereas fixed spool you go low diameter lines. The line sits on them very well, it flows very well, and with a clip rig on the end, makes it very aerodynamic and travels a long way.
Okay, so yeah, generally casting, if you have to use heavier lines because of the ground you're fishing, you can cast the heavier lines further with a multiplier than you could with a fixed spool.
One of the old Abus, that's when they first started introducing level winds. It's an old one I've got in the store. A lot of the people, when they start up, they like to use a level wind. They're not sure on how to guide the line across evenly, and a level wind is a good way of getting you out of the trouble with levelling your own line on.
Okay.
When you cast, the level wind travels back and forth. They did make the odd reel with a level wind where you disengage and it just free flows.
Okay.
But I don't particularly like them because I think it slows the cast down, slows the distance down, and for average anglers, they don't really need them.
That's a Daiwa Millionaire 7HT. Classic, fair to say?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a reel that I grew up with when I was a youngster. It's probably one of the most indestructible, robust reels that I've used.
Yeah.
They're very strong as they've got a one-piece graphite cage. They're easy. Match anglers, pleasure anglers, the chap that goes fishing once every couple of years can use this.
Yeah.
There's no issues, no problems. I've never come across anything bad in any way, shape or form with it.
That controls the speed that the spool turns.
That's it.
For when you're casting, so
Yeah.
you can loosen
can
it
adjust
off to
it.
cast further, tighten it up to cast shorter.
And with windy conditions, you can tighten it down so you don't get the overlap and the slash of the line.
Okay, so push the button to disengage the spool to cast. When your lead hits the water, start winding, it'll engage. And that's that. Start drag on the side. Obviously, the tighter that's done up, the more drag force there is on your weight and rig and baits.
Yeah. Got two control knobs at the ends. You've got one there which does your brakes as such on there, so you'll use that one all the time that you're fishing, depending on conditions. This one here is to help you enable the spool to set it central. So once you get your reel balanced, and a lot of people don't do this, they don't check the spool. See how there you've got slightly more spool showing than you have that side. With just a simple little ease off on that, so you've got plenty of play and a little bit of an ease on there. You can see how the spool has gone central. And whenever I cast a multiplier, I like to have the spool central, and I also like it to just have a little bit of play so it's free flowing. That'll help stop any overruns and bird's nests when you're casting. What a lot of people like to do in the casting, when they're casting, is they have magnets now on these reels, and you set them, when you cast, you'll have them set at say 7 or 8, whatever you prefer, and in the cast, while the line is travelling off the reel, they'll ease the magnets off, and that enables the spool to spin slightly faster once you've got the power and the thrust of the initial cast and it's left.
And there's one more button on this one that we haven't touched upon, which is this one here, which if I'm right is a ratchet. Yeah. So if you engage that, then you can leave the reel in free spool essentially while you're fishing. If you're fishing a big dead bait or
targeting some bigger species,
and then when the line is pulled from the spool, it's going to make a big clunking noise. So you can sit down, have a cup of tea, put your feet up, and just wait for the noise. Irritates a lot of people, but you don't have to have it on. No.
The other good use for that is for lining through your rings on the rod. It doesn't allow the line just to flow off and spool up and spin up.
Okay.
You've got controlled pull off as you're going through the rod rings.
Some great quick tips for you there. If you were thinking about buying a multiplier reel, then why not pop over to Glasgow Angling Centre and see what offers they have on.